In the shadows of every conversation, behind every smile, beneath every handshake, there exists a hidden language. A language of influence so powerful that those who master it can bend reality itself. Tonight, I'm going to reveal 20 techniques that the most successful people use daily. Techniques so effective they border on the supernatural. But be warned, once you see these shadows, you can never unsee them. You'll recognize them in your boss, your friends, your family, and perhaps most disturbingly, in yourself. Welcome to the dark side of human psychology. Let's begin. 1. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is the systematic erosion of someone's reality. It works by creating micro-doubts that compound into complete self-distrust. The victim becomes dependent on the manipulator's version of truth, questioning their own memory and sanity. Professional application. In negotiations, subtly reference previous agreements that favor your position. When challenged, express surprise. I thought we covered this last week. Most people will doubt their memory before challenging yours. Use phrases like, "as we discussed," or "I'm sure you remember," to plant seeds of uncertainty. Second, fear-based control. Fear-based control operates by creating an atmosphere of constant threat. The manipulator doesn't need to follow through on threats. The mere possibility of consequences keeps people compliant. It's psychological imprisonment without physical bars. Professional application. Create vague consequences for non-compliance. "I'd hate to see what happens if this project fails," or "management has been asking questions about team performance." Never make specific threats. Let their imagination fill in the blanks. The unknown is always more terrifying than the known. 3. Guilt tripping. Guilt tripping transforms natural empathy into a weapon. It works by making the target feel responsible for the manipulator's emotional state or circumstances. The victim becomes trapped in a cycle of trying to make things right through compliance. Professional application. Frame requests as personal favors that reflect on the relationship. "After everything I've done for you," or "I really need someone I can count on." Make your disappointment visible when they hesitate. Use phrases like, "I thought you cared about this project," to make refusal feel like betrayal. 4. Love bombing. Love bombing hijacks your brain's reward system through overwhelming early affection followed by withdrawal. It creates neurochemical addiction. The victim desperately tries to recreate that initial high, becoming increasingly dependent on the manipulator's approval. Professional application. In client relationships, provide exceptional early service, constant communication, over-delivery, personal attention. Once they're hooked, gradually normalize to standard service levels. They'll work harder to regain that initial treatment. Use phrases like, "You're my favorite client" early on, then become more distant. 5. Silent treatment. The silent treatment weaponizes our fundamental need for social connection. Social exclusion triggers the same brain regions as physical pain. Silence becomes torture because humans are wired for acknowledgement and belonging. Professional application. When someone opposes your ideas in meetings, don't argue. Simply stop engaging with them directly. Address others. Reference their points without acknowledgement. They'll often change positions just to regain inclusion. Make eye contact with everyone except them during discussions. 6th, triangulation. Triangulation prevents unified resistance by creating artificial competition. The manipulator uses third parties to create conflict, jealousy, or insecurity. When people fight each other, they can't fight you. Professional application. In team management, share selective feedback from team members about each other. Create healthy competition by implying others are outperforming. Never lie directly. Use phrases like "some people feel" or "there's been discussion about." This creates paranoia and prevents team unity against your decisions. 7. False choice. False choice provides the feeling of autonomy while controlling outcomes. All presented options lead to the manipulator's preferred destination, but the target feels they've made a free decision. Professional application. When presenting proposals, always offer 3 options. 1 obviously too expensive, 1 too basic, and your preferred choice positioned as the reasonable middle ground. Frame it as giving them control while steering toward your desired outcome. Would you prefer A, B, or C when all serve your interests? 8. Foot in the door. This technique exploits our psychological need for consistency. Once someone agrees to a small request, they're more likely to agree to larger ones to maintain consistency with their previous commitment. Each yes makes the next request easier. Professional application. Start with tiny, reasonable requests that are hard to refuse. Could you just take a quick look at this? Then gradually escalate. Since you're already familiar with it, could you provide some feedback? Each small compliance creates psychological investment in continuing. 9. Projection. Projection attributes your own behaviors, feelings, or motivations to others to avoid accountability. The manipulator accuses others of what they themselves are doing, creating confusion and deflecting attention from their own actions. Professional application. When you've made a mistake, immediately question others' competence in that area. I noticed some quality issues lately. Are we maintaining our standards? This deflects attention while positioning you as quality conscious. Accuse others of the very things you're doing. 10th. Intermittent reinforcement. Intermittent reinforcement creates psychological addiction through unpredictable rewards. Like a slot machine, the uncertainty of when the next reward will come makes people obsessively seek approval. The brain releases more dopamine from unpredictable rewards than consistent ones. Professional application. Don't praise consistently. Vary your positive feedback unpredictably. Sometimes acknowledge good work immediately, other times ignore it. Occasionally provide excessive praise for minor tasks. This creates dependency as people constantly seek your approval, never knowing when it will come. Use phrases like, "That's exactly what I was looking for," sporadically to maximize impact. 11th. Reverse psychology. Reverse psychology exploits psychological reactance, people's instinctive desire to do the opposite of what they're told, especially when they feel their freedom is threatened. By suggesting they can't or shouldn't do something, you make them want it more. Professional application. Present limitations or exclusivity to increase desire. This advanced training probably isn't suitable for your current level, or "I'm not sure you're ready for this responsibility yet." When people feel challenged or excluded, they'll work harder to prove their worthiness and capability. 12th. Anchoring. Anchoring plants. The first piece of information as a reference point for all subsequent decisions. Whatever number, idea, or expectation you establish first becomes the baseline against which everything else is measured. Professional application. Always present your highest option first in negotiations. If selling services, start with premium packages. If discussing budgets, begin with higher figures. Even if they reject the initial anchor, all subsequent options will seem reasonable by comparison. Our full package is $10,000, but we also have options starting at $3,000. 13th, social proof manipulation. Social proof manipulation creates false consensus by selectively presenting evidence that everyone else is doing something. People naturally follow the crowd, especially when uncertain, making manufactured social proof incredibly powerful. Professional application. Reference other clients, competitors, or industry standards to justify your requests. Most companies in your position choose this option, or your competitors are already implementing this strategy. Create the impression of widespread adoption, even if evidence is limited. 14. Mirroring. Mirroring creates false intimacy by copying someone's body language, speech patterns, and communication style. Humans are neurologically wired to trust similarity, making this technique devastatingly effective for building rapid rapport. Professional application. Match their energy level, speaking pace, and preferred communication style. If they're analytical, use data. If they're emotional, use stories. Mirror their posture and gestures subtly. They'll feel understood and connected without knowing why. 15. Scarcity manipulation. Scarcity manipulation creates artificial limitations to increase perceived value. When something appears rare or limited, people want it more and make faster decisions to avoid missing out. Professional application. Emphasize limited availability, exclusive access, or time-sensitive opportunities. We only take on 3 clients per quarter, or this pricing expires Friday. Create legitimate scarcity around your time, attention, or services to increase demand. 16. Blame shifting. Blame shifting redirects accountability for problems or failures onto others, while positioning yourself as either innocent or heroic. It protects your reputation while destabilizing others' confidence. Professional application. Frame problems as external factors or others' responsibilities when protecting your position. If the team had communicated better. Or, the real issue is the system we inherited. To deflect personal accountability while appearing solution-focused. 17th. Covert conditioning. Covert conditioning gradually shapes someone's behavior through subtle rewards and punishments that operate below their conscious awareness. The person adapts without realizing they're being trained. Professional application. Use consistent micro-rewards, smiles, attention, agreement, for desired behaviors and subtle withdrawal. Brief delays, neutral responses, for unwanted ones. The person won't notice the pattern but will adapt their behavior to seek your approval. 18. False urgency. False urgency creates artificial time pressure or scarcity to force quick decisions and prevent careful consideration of options. When people feel rushed, they rely on emotion rather than logic. Professional application. Introduce legitimate deadlines and emphasize time-sensitive opportunities. We need to decide by Friday, or this offer expires soon, to motivate prompt action and reduce deliberation time that might lead to rejection. 19. Emotional blackmail. Emotional blackmail uses someone's emotions, insecurities, or relationships against them to force compliance. It weaponizes love, fear, obligation, and guilt to override rational decision-making. Professional application. Connect your requests to their values, relationships, or self-image. A leader like you would understand. Or, I know you care about the team's success. Make refusal feel like betrayal of their identity or values. 20. Playing dumb. Playing dumb involves feigning confusion, incompetence, or lack of knowledge to avoid responsibility, gather information, or manipulate others into doing work for you. Apparent helplessness becomes a weapon. Professional application. Ask seemingly innocent questions to extract information. I'm probably missing something obvious, but... Or claim confusion about policies you understand perfectly to avoid unwanted tasks while appearing harmless and non-threatening. So there you have it. 20 techniques that operate in the shadows of every human interaction. But here's the most disturbing revelation of all. The moment you learned these techniques, you became capable of using them. Knowledge is never neutral. It's a weapon that cuts both ways. You now possess a terrible power, the ability to see the strings that control human behavior, and more dangerously, the ability to pull those strings yourself. The question isn't whether you'll use these techniques. The question is whether you'll use them consciously or unconsciously. Right now, as you're watching this, you're probably thinking about someone in your life who uses these tactics on you. Your boss, your partner, that friend who always gets their way. But here's what's really happening in your mind. You're already planning how to use these techniques yourself. That's the seductive power of dark psychology. It promises control in a world that often feels chaotic. It offers shortcuts to influence in relationships that feel unbalanced. But every shortcut has a price. You now stand at a crossroads. You can use this knowledge to protect yourself, to recognize when these techniques are being used against you, to build healthier boundaries, to understand the hidden dynamics in your relationships. This is the path of awareness and self-protection. Or you can use this knowledge as a weapon to manipulate others for your own gain, to exploit psychological vulnerabilities, to treat people as objects to be controlled rather than humans to be respected. This is the path of power without conscience. The final warning: choose carefully. Because once you see the shadows, you can never unsee them. Once you understand the game, you're already playing it. The only question is, what kind of player will you become? But before you decide, there's one more technique I didn't mention, the most powerful manipulation tactic of all. It's so dangerous that I've saved it for a separate video. If you think you can handle the truth, subscribe, and I'll reveal it next week. The shadows are calling. Will you join them, or will you use this knowledge to step into the light?